roller coaster ride, hands up in the sky.
Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm a 26-year-old content creator and I live full-time in our self-converted van, Big Bez. We've had this van 3 years and she was an empty shell when we first got her. So we've spent 3 years getting her to where she is now, and she literally is our tiny home on wheels. In this van, we've been to Spain, France, all around the UK, including the NC 500, Cornwall and the south coast of the UK.
We going up, we take it down.
Welcome to Big Bez. So we will start in our seating area, which is our newest addition. Before, this was literally fixed seats in front with a bulkhead. So every time you wanted to get in the back, you literally have to climb over a huge wall. So now we've literally got a living room extension. So these seats swivel round, and this one does as well, and it just feels so much bigger in here. We've also used this cupboard above to store all of our clutter. Honestly, the front of the van was an absolute state before we had this, so this is like one of my favourite features. So then here we've got our little seating area. Under here is where I keep my clothes in packing cubes very messily, as you can see. This is Willow's favourite spot where she likes to chill. And then we have here is like our sort of kitchen, living room side. It all blends into one in a van. So when you live in a van, every single bit of space is utilised, even the ceiling. So as you can see here, we've got Bill's guitar hanging from the ceiling, as well as our fan, headphones and some hats. Every single bit of storage matters in a van. Moving on, we have our oven. We have a 2-hob burner, a grill and an oven. We can actually cook a full roast dinner in this van, and that has been tried and tested. So this is our van that we live full time in, but if you want to try van life for yourself, you don't have to commit to building a van. You can rent one, like one I'm about to show you right now. So here is a really quick tour of this beautiful motorhome rented through Camper Days. Starting off with the cab area, which is similar to Big Bez's but way bigger. Look how big this is. So we've got the same concept with the swivel seats, and look how many people you can fit around your dining table. That is insane. So just above us is a double bed, believe it or not. This comes down and you can sleep too very comfortably. So here we have our tiny kitchen, but look how well this has been thought out. We've got your sink here that closes down for extra countertop space with hot and cold water, and then on this side you've got your hob, and it's even got 3 burners. So all you have to do in your tiny kitchen is literally turn around and you've got this huge fridge with a little freezer in there as well. Moving on from the kitchen, you have got your toilet in this door and your shower in this door. This is so big, it literally does not even feel like a van. Look at the size of this bedroom, and there is a full double bed with all of your wardrobes and cupboards above you and around you. This thing is massive, and you've even got a window to look at the stars. So I'm here in this beautiful motorhome rented through Camper Days, answering questions about female driving. What's the biggest misconception about female drivers that you'd like to dispel? So obviously the big stereotype is that women can't drive, but did you know actually men cause more accidents in the UK and the US by like a huge chunk? And also, out of me and Bill, I've never had an accident, so what does that tell you? Okay, and do you have any anecdotes about personal experiences as a female driver? So for me, I've never really experienced like the sexist stuff with driving, but obviously being a woman, owning a vehicle and taking it to a garage, you're going to expect to get the mick taken out of you. So that's really all I've had experience with on that front. So for example, my first car was a classic Mini. My dad's actually a mechanic, but he was busy that day, so I took it to a garage. And I got some work done, which was supposedly really important. And then when I got my car back, he hadn't actually done the work. So the car still had the same problem that it went in with. So that just tells you. Do you have any negative experiences as a female driver? No, not generally. The only thing I would say is obviously when we get out at a park up, Bill is always assumed to be the driver as a man, which is kind of hurtful sometimes as a woman, but that's just standard, I guess. Do you have any tips for women who may be inspired to start their own van life adventure? Okay, so one tip would definitely be, rather than just going out straight away and buying your van, if you've never had experience driving a van before, you could do something like renting a camper van in different sizes to see what you're comfortable with. So for example, our van, when we go to normal car parks, we have to take over 2 spaces, which is sometimes really difficult, like it's a really busy car park. And if you go for like a small wheelbase or a medium wheelbase, they actually fit in normal car park spaces. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. So our last van, for example, was a little T4, and that you could get everywhere. Under height barriers, you could park right next to the beach. But if you're going to go for something like bigger, for example, what we've got now, a long wheelbase, it makes it so much more difficult to park everywhere. And you've got to basically research everywhere you're going before you go there. So definitely rent a camper van and see which size you feel comfortable driving. So another tip from me would be definitely look into your layout. If you're going to be traveling in a van and you know that you can't live without a shower, for example, I was the same. We had a T4 for our last van and we didn't have a shower in that, and I really struggled. So yeah, definitely look into your layout, think about what you can and can't be without, and then go from there. Nice. And what does van life mean to you? Sounds really cheesy, but literally it's everything. Like, it's freedom. We have done so much since we've had this van. We've seen way more of our country than we would have done if we lived in a house. It is literally our lifestyle, and I'm so happy with what we've chosen to do because it's just given us so much freedom. Do you remember how you felt the first time you ever drove a camper van? Okay, I can tell you exactly how I felt, because when I got my licence, I actually passed manual, but every car after that for like 7 years was an automatic. So when we got our little van, I had to drive it for the first time a manual straight off the bat, 7 years driving an automatic, and I was very, very sweaty, I'll tell you that. But honestly, after driving it for like half hour, it was just the best feeling, and it's so cool looking over your shoulder and literally seeing your house behind you. And what's been your favourite van life experience so far? So for me, it would definitely have to be last October. We went to Europe for the first time, and after doing like 2 years of van life in the UK, Europe was like a whole nother ball game. Like, it's so set up for it. There's airs everywhere, places for you to like empty your toilet and fill up your water without any stress. And it's just so much less frowned upon there. You can literally turn up to a beautiful spot and no one really cares what you're doing. They're happy for you to be there. It was just amazing. I think Spain for me was my favourite because you've got the weather and all the beauty. France was amazing, it had so many airs, but my favourite van life experience by far was travelling through Spain. How old were you when you first passed your driving test? So I was 17 when I first learnt to drive. I could not wait, and my uncle's a driving instructor, so I was straight in. I literally couldn't wait to just get that independence and just be able to just go off on my own. And obviously being a teenager, you can't wait for your independence anyway, so I was straight in there. So who is your favourite person to road trip with and why? I'm going to have to say it's Billy, my fiance, and my little doggy Willow. Absolutely love just experiencing new adventures with them. Obviously I've been with my partner now 11 years and we've literally grown up together, so it's so nice to just like go and do these amazing things, and he makes it so fun and we just get on so well. And I think living in a van for 3 years, we have crossed that barrier. Like, we can do whatever in front of each other and we don't care, which just makes it so much more fun. We don't really stress because it's obviously our lifestyle. So yeah, definitely Billy. Nice. And what's your favourite song to listen to whilst driving? So we like a lot of country. Shout out to Bill's parents for getting us into that, but definitely Chris Stapleton Traveller is always on repeat, and anything by Krungbin as well. I love Krungbin. Anything that's just like chilled, because obviously when you're driving along the motorway it can get a bit tedious, and yeah. So what would your #1 bucket list road trip destination be? We would love to go to Canada because it just looks insane, like the Rocky Mountains and stuff like that. Oh my god, it's a dream. So we've been thinking about maybe going over there and renting a camper van and just doing that for a good couple of weeks. Other than that, it's got to be like Norway and anywhere snowy. I just imagine that that's so cool to be in your van and it's just snowing outside like a winter wonderland. If you could road trip with one person, dead or alive, who would it be? Okay, so I would have to say my great nan, because she actually was a traveller. So back in the 1930s, she was one of 13 children, and they actually had a horse and cart gypsy caravan that they all used to live in and do vegetable picking along the way. So they done that for years, and literally up until their horse was really old, bless him. And he got really sick in Barking and basically died, and that is where they stayed. From then they came out of the caravan and were put into housing, and that's where they stayed. So that's why I'm from around here.